trying to get organized here. But today we have a program that's based upon the experience I had in a parking lot with some pigeons. Now, I wanted to talk about those pigeons as a result to them being messengers of information, sometimes from other people, because you know they used to use them as spies, like postal service. But then, when I was a boy, they used pigeon to mean snitch. But we didn't have that word back in the day, snitch. And what happens is, situations have evolved in this new world order, where we have a lot of snitches. Not snitches as it relates to spies between nations and organizations, but snitches as it relates to the slaves back in the day. And one of the things that I really want to say, particularly with this mass deportation, and I want to say this to the Negro: don't be a damn snitch. Don't be a pigeon. Don't run tell nobody about nobody that's in that status. Because remember, there was a time they had bounty hunters hunting us. And now they got people being paid money by municipalities to tell it on people. Come on, Negroes. We don't do all that. Now, granted, I wanted Trump to do what he got to do, because they didn't come here, most of them, with an attitude of gratitude. They came here with an attitude of entitlement. They came here, and like that creature that was down in City Hall, this creature had the nerve to say, no more money for you. You lazy. I hope Trump and them snatch his behind up already. But there was that attitude. So a lot of us, when I say us, talking about the Negro, the descendants of slaves, we have to remember, these people came here and now they want to talk about birthright citizenship. Well, come on, Negro. That was put into place because of us, the slave, that was born here without a country, that was already here without their acknowledgement. And now you want to turn it around and start playing with it. And then you democratic reptilians just blowing it out of proportion, turning it into a mess. It ain't all about that. That other little thing, that whole DEI, come on, y'all. That was to wipe out affirmative action, and the most folks that got benefited out of that is white women and everybody else. Out of all of those other categories, I ain't got time to label them, the truth is this: the Negro, as it relates to receiving benefit from it, is number 7. 7 out of 7. Everybody benefited more than us, but everybody running around making all this fuss. So what has happened is the pigeon mentality. That's them damn reptilians. The snitch mentality. But you mad because now you won't be the only pig slopping from the trough. Thank God for that. Now, some things have happened since the last time we was here. And the bottom line is this: I wanted to use some pictures, some videos to show you. And I will get to that in a minute. But just because time is this is different than the show on Wednesday night on WBON from 9 to 12, 1690 a.m. That's a 3-hour show. But this show here is 25 minutes. And I want to thank the people here at CAN TV that allowed us to resume the retro current presentation of Speak On It. Because Speak On It intent is to inform, inspire toward empowerment. So it's a commentary style presentation, but its energy, its intent is to encourage and become a catalyst to get something accomplished other than a lot of vomit. One of the things that happens in our community is we vomit about everybody else's business but our own. But this thing about running to tell it on those people that was here illegally, Yeah, they was invaders, but many of them was brought here by Biden them. They put them on planes and brought them here. They went over there and asked them to come here. But when they came wrong. Back to what I said. That attitude of entitlement instead of an attitude of gratitude. So much for that in a nutshell. Another piece. This thing about what happened at President Carter's funeral and what happened at the inauguration. Now, we have seen that Clinton woman stand by her man. Roosevelt, wife, stood by him. Others have stood by their men. But what happened with this slave female? Poor Obama left him hanging. Just left him out there to castigate him, to castrate him, to break him down. He come to the funeral by himself, looked so pathetic. Down at the inauguration, walking by himself, looked so pathetic. Allegedly, possibly, he might be kicking it with a white woman. Well, Obama was raised by white people. He was raised a white boy. He got caught up with that by mistake. They entrapped him. They did. They saw him. They saw a little potential. But come on now. So now what's happening is that project mentality across the street. You understand? If you don't do what I want you to do or tell you to do, then I'm going to destroy you. She's destroyed him. He ain't worth 2 half of nickels. He ain't. Because the world has seen him abandoned by his woman. You see how crazy that is? So one of the things we really, really have to understand, if that Clinton woman could support Clinton, and they found him in an office in the White House with somebody under the table in between his legs, surely a black woman should have been able to support Obama, whatever the situation. But we see what happens. And there was others as it relates to the history of what's happening here. Kennedy, another one. There was controversy about him and Mary, I ain't gonna call the woman name. Y'all know her. So the bottom line is this here. Why is it that slave mentality, that's what kills and destroys the black family? And that's why I use the clips. I use the clips so when I'm talking, it don't seem like I'm rambling. But we're going to get some clips in a minute, but in case we don't get the pictures I need, we're going to start off with some clips that make sense. One clip, a pigeon was sold for $1.9 million. A racing pigeon. Then there's another pigeon that was sold. This pigeon flew over 20 different countries. And after a year, flew all the way back home from where he was sold. Now, how does that relate to where you are in the snitch? Well, the messenger, which is the pigeon, can be on a human level or the spiritual level. And I tell you, if you want to know what it means when pigeons follow humans, and I'm sure a lot of y'all get followed by humans, just maybe you didn't know why. And every circumstance is different. But you need to Google it so you will understand the significance on the spiritual level. Now, before we get into that, there's one thing I really want to bring our attention to as it relates to where we're going. Trump and them going quick. And some of those same old democratic reptilians that's been getting paid just keep trying to act like they're in power. Negro, don't fall for the okie doke. Those individuals have raped you, pimped you for years. Because you know, in the street versus the church and the politics, the pimp called his main woman bottom lady. But in the church and the politics, little poop butt politicians call their first lady, that's what they call her, first lady. But the so-called first lady, you understand, threw him away, abandoned him. But that boss, base lady that supports the one that stand on his own and not fake in them streets. No, I'm not upholding and glorifying no pimp. I'm just telling you how crazy it is. How could this slave woman take him who married out of his element? And she told you in interviews and in her writings that for 10 years during the marriage, and that was before the time that he'd been out of office, she couldn't stand him. But you all made her seem like she was the example of an upright woman. And you saw how she acted in the election about the black man telling the black woman, don't support him. If he don't do what you tell him and vote, what's his jig? Biden, leave him, go. And what did she do? She demonstrated her venom. And that's what she did to Obama. I know you don't want to hear that. You don't like that. But that's snitch, slave mentality. When Harry Tubman them, Nat Turner them, were trying to be free, and all the rest of them that we don't know and don't remember. It was the snitch, the pigeon, that carried the message to the bounty hunter. It was the snitch, the pigeon, that got the liberator hung on a limb. Start with those clips in whatever order you do, and I sure appreciate it. Trying to figure, they all come here, trying to figure out what's happening with all these pigeons here. Standing in the middle of them, walking, trying to figure, they all come here, so I guess I need to go get some food. Sort of phenomenal. Talking about power, huh? Who are these pigeons? Why are they here? I couldn't have done this. Look at all these pigeons. Look. What the hell? God is God, huh? I know you don't want to talk about this, huh? I guess I got to go in here and get some food. What the hell is this? Now, what happens is this. There will be 3 or 4 of those videos. But those videos tell a story. So as you hear the video, see the connection of the videos. Because at the end of the day, the story is personal. So I don't want to comment on it myself other than what you see and hear. But the bottom line, it started with me getting out of the car and a pigeon sitting on top of the car. And I'm in the parking lot getting ready to go in the store. So I greet the pigeon. Pigeon wouldn't move. I turn around and all of the pigeons off a building flies to the ground. And what you see is a result of that. Now there is a history, and Google will tell you what it means. But there is a history. There are omens that come about that give individuals information, give individuals guidance. And one of the things that our people, the Negro, has been subjected to by the slave owner is his superstitions and his lies. The pigeon is a fowl. I didn't get out of the car. I'm not one of those people who go around feeding pigeons. Now, if I see a pigeon in the park, and I got some chips or something, I might throw something to him. But I don't just go around looking for. No. So they didn't come to me because I was trying to feed them. They didn't come to me because they wanted to eat. And you won't be able to see this clip because we're only allowed to have so many clips. That's the challenge here. Because everybody knows that's been watching me for all these years. I don't never come raw like this. I always like to have a reference. But because you have to only be able to use certain numbers of things. Sort of like that Facebook thing where the government empowered dude to censor the citizens. And he would take down your stuff during COVID, before COVID, and after COVID, violating your constitutional rights of freedom of speech. So as we go from milieu to milieu, people have their ways of violating your constitutional rights. And they think you can't see it. But I didn't come here for opposition. I came here for opportunity to inform, to inspire toward empowerment. So what happens is when we look at how we have evolved and how suspicious we are, a person like me can't comment on it. Because if I comment on it, then you hate me. Who that nigga that is? He ain't that. He ain't nothing. Woo, woo, woo. I don't need all that. That ain't why I'm here. I'm here to give you some information that inspire you to get it in gear. But in this day and time, it makes more sense than for me to come here with the newspaper like we started way back in the day. It makes more sense to use the technology where we can use that as a reference that you can see and hear and understand what the topic, what the issue is about. But that Facebook boy, after violating people's rights, then he gonna take $7 million and pay the damn politicians to try to get TikTok banned. It almost worked. But Trump came in maybe to save the day. But then the boy that violated the rights of the public, he turns out to be a snitch. He goes and tells the public and go tell Trump, they made me do it. That's a pigeon. But it ain't the type of pigeon that's got good sense. Those pigeons you see in these clips, those pigeons moved to the frequency of the divine creator. Can you imagine? Pigeons got more sense than humans. A pigeon can recognize in a person what a human can't. A pigeon knows what's right. A pigeon can travel 20 countries, take a whole year, and fly back to the original owner. Now that's serious. A pigeon can become a spy and take a message to the opposition. But when we look at a pigeon, we think the person that has a relationship, like Mike Tyson and others, with the pigeon is strange. But that's why I wanted to bring this information. But I didn't intend to tie it into the snitch. But the snitch piece sort of like creates the energy that I'm feeling. But I have to say, during COVID, the shows we did was longer, and we knew that was only because of COVID and there was downtime. And when I came back to do it this time, the staff here that had been here a long time, they told me off the top, well, Maalik, you won't be able to do them as long as you were doing them during COVID. You had to go back to the 25 minutes. Of course, I know that. Do you really think that I would prefer doing an hour show when I can do 25 minutes? Not necessarily. So like I said, it ain't for opposition. It's for opportunity. But I heard it from somebody down here. They said, woo, 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 woo. So you ought to be gratitude. I am grateful. But being grateful don't negate the fact that you still have constitutional rights. You understand? You still have human rights. So when you look at what has happened, that whole thing, and I'm telling you, I couldn't get nothing passed on Facebook. Couldn't even pay them because they had their little system, community standards. Yeah, you was the spy. You was the snitch for the government. Anything anybody said or posted that you didn't like, you took them down, violated their rights. And now look, and the only reason all of them damn illegal invaders was here? Because them Democratic reptilians wanted to delete the Negro. The election that brought Biden into place, you know that all during that election, they were saying the black female is the backbone of the Democratic Party. You didn't hear none of that this time. This time they was banking on using those illegals. You understand? That's what they was banking on. But because of TikTok, that's why they wanted to knock it out. TikTok allowed people to report what the major propaganda machines, there used to be news outlets, but they too was co-opted by them reptilians. So now what we have is that people like me that tried to bring information to people in a language and a style that they understand. We have to be careful because they come up with rules, and rules have traps. And if you don't be careful, they will tie you up. And that's why, I don't want to go back to newspapers. I don't like trying to have a little notepad. Hell, come on now. That's what they did in my day. But I'm telling you, some pieces I didn't use today, none of them was more than 20 seconds long. Now, to see the pictures, to see how Obama looked, to hear what the people were saying, to see the pigeons fly, would make more sense than listening to my mouth. Now just run those pieces back to back, Miss Amani, and then by the time they get through, I'll summarize and we'll be through. But let's just finish those pigeon pieces so people can hear and get the drift and the spirit of what the pigeons are doing and what it represents if they go to Google. Tell me, what is this? Damn. See, what can I take? Tell me, what is this? Some food, bunches of them. I never experienced this before, but I don't want to say there was an attack. Actually, it was a blessing to have all these birds to salute. So I had to pay homage and offer sacrifice. That's how it's done. Pigeons all over the place. They draped on me, so I bought them some. This is the one that's left. The rest of them went back up top and left him to eat and visit on his own. It's amazing. I don't know who Buddy is, but all of these pigeons, this is the one that's left. The rest of them went back up top and left him to eat and visit on his own. It's amazing. Like I say, I'm not the type of person that can actually speak on that. Because for me to tell you what it means, as I said it earlier, it'll make you hateful. And no, I don't think I'm all that or none of that. So I won't comment on it to that degree. But I will say this. That is what happens in societies that are close to nature. Because nature recognizes nature in nature. And one of the pieces that we couldn't show, they made it clear. Well, that's the end. Alafia. Peace and good health.